on 395 here at the junction that runs up to Mammoth Lakes. That's a 3-mile jaunt, and it's all uphill, which is nice on the downhill side. Look at these ugly mountains. Just hideous. I'm headed south on 395, 44 miles to the town of Bishop. And it's pretty much downhill. Mammoth Lakes is right at 8,000 feet. And I believe there's about a 4,000 foot elevation drop between here and Bishop. Okay, well, I've got a 8-mile descent. Probably take me right down to Bishop. Beautiful area, mountains. The road is recently paved, so it's just super smooth. No rolling friction. Couldn't ask for a better day. Probably close to 60 now. Another 5 or 6 degrees and I'll have the leg warmers off. Anyway, it's time for our descent. Well, I'm glad that I'm not northbound. 8 miles worth of 6%. It's, yeah, I would say it's about 6%. You can see the highway way down the valley floor. And I'll be down there in a couple minutes. Bishop can't be 10 miles up the valley. Look at this. Ah, incredible. What a spread. Okay, so I'm leaving Bishop this morning on 395. It's the first day that I've started the trip out in shorts. It's going to be about 76, 77 degrees today. And I'm headed for a campground called Glacier View in the town of Big Pine. So coming down 395, just south of the town of Bishop, I run into Chloe and Brooke, who are down from Sumas, Washington.
Yep.
And so you guys been on the road for about a month.
Yep.
And we're stopped on the side of the road today for a little bicycle maintenance. And let's see, you guys are headed south.
Yep.
Ultimately to the border. And let's see, what else are we going to do? And you guys are heading towards Big Pine today. And we're only, what, 5 or 6 miles?
We're on Lone Pine.
Lone Pine. Lone
So
Pine.
60 total.
Oh, Lone Pine. Okay, yeah, that's
Pine,
quite a haul.
Pine, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are headed to Lone Pine, about 60 miles south.
Yep.
And you guys are doing mostly camping.
Yeah. Pretty
Okay.
much, yeah.
And there might be some climbing involved in the next day or two.
Probably. There always is. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Well, I just wanted to say safe travels and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice
All
to
right.
meet you.
So I'm in the town of Big Pine, and there's 3 campgrounds right in town. One is Glacier View. It's right on the highway. It's $15, and they have showers available for additional $2. Probably 1.5 miles from that campground is Baker Creek. This is a Forest Service campground, I believe, and Glacier View is a county campground. This is something I've never seen before. Look at this. Solar cell, solar powered machine to pay for the campground. The campground here at Baker Creek is $10, and I don't think they have any water available, but you're about a mile from the city park, and there's water and bathrooms available down there. Anyway, I'm gonna find me a place to camp. It's early, 12 o'clock, and I'm just taking a day off because it's nice. Okay, so I've got up here to the Baker Creek, to the actual campground at Baker Creek. You can see there's an actual creek here. So I've just come up to the, I've selected this campsite right here. Baker Creek comes down. There's a small footbridge, and Baker Creek is dammed up like 4 or 5 times on its way down the mountain through this camping area. There's probably 50 sites, and there's 10 people all in RVs. They can't, you have to have RV, or else how can you watch your big screen TV when you go camping? But I've opted to have short day. Shoot, I only rode 15 miles, no, 20 miles from Bishop, and I guess there's a creek on both sides, because here we go. Looks good, the water looks good. If I needed water, I would dip a kettle out and boil it up. The town of Big Pine is no more than a mile and a half away, and just a perfect day for a rest. Actually, and I found this campground on a website called freecampsites.net. They have a Facebook page as well, and I'll probably leave a review. So here's the sun about to come up over the horizon here, and you take a look behind me, you can see the Baker Creek campground area. Down here is Big Pine. Actually, I don't know, you're not gonna be able to see it, but right there's a large cone-shaped conifer tree, and about a mile away, maybe a mile and a half, and that is Glacier View Campground. And there's another one, I can't think of what the name of it was. Baker Creek, Glacier View, and something else. But south of here on 395, there are campgrounds pretty much every 15 to 20 miles down to south of Owens Lake. Today I'm looking for a BLM campground called Goodall, I can't remember. And then after that, I have 2 other campgrounds that I've picked out: Fossil Falls and Alabama Hills. I'd like to camp at those as well. But for today, before the sun breaks the horizon, I'm going to roll down into Big Pine. I think it's a pancake day. Of Big Pine is Taboose Creek, another Forest Service campground. I believe it's $10. I think the only thing they have is pit toilet and no water available, unless you count the creek water. Well, I've just turned down this road here to Goodell. It's a BLM campground. I was planning to stop here and camp, but it's only like 9:30. The weather in the afternoons now is mid 70s to high 70s, and above freezing at night, 36, something like that. So I would say near ideal temperature conditions. The problem is I just feel like riding, I mean, if I stop here, and by the way, the campground is only $5 a night, and it's open until, I believe, the 30th of November. But it's just hard for me to quit this early in the day. I mean, I probably would get a kick out of just walking around this beautiful desert, these backdrop of huge mountains, It's just awesome. But I'm going to continue on. There is 5 or 6 other campgrounds. Plus, I mean, I can just push out into the desert at any time I want. So I'm going to continue south at a leisurely pace. We'll see what happens. Wow, this is incredible. Beautiful mountains here. About every 2 or 3 miles there's a gate like this, unlocked. It goes right into the public lands. That's probably what I'll do later tonight when I'm looking for a place to camp, is I'll just open one of these gates and push out into the boulder field like this. You know, not too far, maybe, because it'd be tough to roll the bike out, or I'll find someplace with better cover. But these mountains are incredible. It's almost like the Tetons. So I'm in the small town of Independence. Here's the courthouse, must be the county seat for Inyo County. Look at this sequoia. Holy cow, that's nice. The library's right over here. And I saw another bicycle tour. I was in Subway having lunch, and he rode by, but I don't know if he's gonna be at the campground or where. He might be at the library. Anyway, I'm gonna try the campground just a half mile outside of town. Okay, so I'm in the town of Independence. It's a small town, maybe a mile and a half from there to about there. A half a mile on the west side of town, a half a mile outside of town is Independence Creek Campground. It's a county campground. It's $10 a night. There's water available, and of course some vault toilets. I haven't paid yet. I gotta go pay. I've just picked this spot right here, nice and shady. Although I'll probably sit in the sun for a little while. Right? Nice big beer. And right here on my I have safety wired to my rack is a nice church key. Which, I mean, if I could get that bottle open, trust me, if I didn't have a church key. You know what I'm gonna do? Bike check. I'm gonna do that next. It's gonna be a separate video. Bike check, and maybe we'll just maybe I'll go through all my panniers and look at all my equipment. You know, I try not to be a gear junkie because it's not the important part of bicycle touring. You know, there's plenty of resources on the internet that you can go to and read all about, you know, the best bikes, the best racks, the best panniers, the best saddle, the best everything. But you know what? A lot of that stuff is just personal choice. And I just don't think it's that important. You know? I mean, when I am researching stuff, I mean, I'm down to the tech specs in the manufacturer's website. Because I am a gear junkie. But I'm gonna sit here and probably I'm just gonna hang out for a little while. Whoa, what's under the picnic table? Whoa, that didn't fall out of my wallet because I just pulled up. I've only opened that bag, so so the campground is only gonna cost me $9 a night. Hey, you see this? This is a black microfiber dishcloth. It's not. I mean, it's not terribly small. You buy them at the dollar store, and this is really all you need for a towel, right? And you can go to REI or other backpacking stores, or outdoor supply stores, and you can buy something called a pack towel, which is about the same size, usually not black, but what you really want is black. If you go to the dollar store, you can get them for $1. I also bought that little microfiber washcloth dish towel. Super fast dry. You could probably dry 2 people with this. But anyway, if you go to REI and buy a pack towel, it's going to cost you $16 for the exact same thing, and it's not going to be in the perfect color, which is black. So behind me is the town of Independence. It's only about a mile long, and there's a couple of gas stations, a motel, that kind of stuff. Stayed last night in Independence Creek, a Inyo County park or campground. Headed south on 395 with a stop today in Manzanar, a National Historic Site, and eventually ending today at Lone Pine, and for a little camping out at a place called Alabama Hills. I always stop at these signs. I like to see the bicycle tracks that go up to the signs because people stop and take pictures. Okay, so I'm pulling into the town of Lone Pine here on 395. It's not a big town, but it's bigger than, I think it's about just slightly smaller than Bishop. What I'm going to be looking for is, I plan to camp at a place called Alabama Hills, which is just to the west side here. And there's some other pretty interesting things in town. There's a museum. This area was well known or well used in the 50s and 60s and 70s as a backdrop for Western movies, and so it has a huge history in the movie business. I am probably going to camp, dispersed camp on BLM land. There is a campground or two right outside of town, and I'm going to use hopefully the town library to put together the next video. So I'm here at the Alabama Hills. It's BLM land. 14-day camping limit. It's free. Dispersed camping on BLM land. That right there is Mount Whitney, tallest mountain in the lower 48. I think it's 14.5. Forget. Town of Lone Pine is a quarter of a mile back. And gonna stop up here and find me a place to camp. Might actually walk around a little bit. Gotta tell you, that climb up out of Lone Pine up to movie road, movie flat, that's a climb. That's a serious climb. Mount Whitney. These are the Alabama Hills. You can see why they are loved by rock climbers. So I've come down this little dirt road here. Intentionally picked a dirt road that was pretty rough. Actually, right here is where it's easy. It gets rougher this way. That will keep people. I mean, there's nothing fresh. So yeah, will keep. Makes me feel better that there won't be anybody driving down here this evening. I can see that there were people camping right down there, but there's another road that runs actually I'll probably walk down there and have a look. It's pretty incredible. You can just make out Lone Pine, probably 2 miles away, and 1,500 feet maybe, or 1,200 feet below. So it's a heck of a climb to get up here, but wow, it's incredible.